Hello, my name is Emmanuel Daitumi. I'm a Ghanaian, but I'm an African. And today I want to speak to my fellow brothers and sisters of African descent, Ghanaians, and any black African anywhere on the globe. Not too long ago, we did a seminar, virtual seminar for many people, and we're looking at how do we get it right in the year 2026. And why did we do this seminar? We did this seminar because for many times we realized that there are so many people who are of the view that success can be attained overnight. And if not overnight, you can just, as somebody says, slide through life and become successful. But today I want you to understand that success, in its true sense, true success, cannot be attained by wishing. It involves hard work. It involves clear strategy. And indeed, it involves thinking. And that is why today I've taken the time to walk us through and to share what I call how to get it right in 2026. And by getting it right, I'm talking about using strategic vision for yourself, how to create a strategic vision for yourself, and then also how to have a clear sense of direction through the concept of planning. But let me put this whole thing in context, just so that you understand where I'm coming from. I never saw my father. When I was 1 year, 6 months, my father died. I'm told that we are about 25 kids. My father had about 3 wives or so. And starting life was so tough. My mother never went to school before. I come from a village somewhere in Ghana. Today with Google Map and GPS, you'll be able to determine and to locate my village, but it's called Oyoko in the eastern region of Ghana. Started off life as a shoe shine boy. And from shoe shining, I moved on to selling foodstuffs. I used to go to the villages, places called Begro, Bososo, Fantreko in the eastern region, and I'll go and buy plantain, buy cassava, buy kontomire, buy fruits, put them in the train to the big city, Accra, and I'll sell them. On my way back to the village, I'll buy trousers materials, and then I'll go and sell them as well. In the evenings, I'll buy kerosene, put them in gallons, and then pour them in bottles and carry them from home to home, and then sell them. That is how my entrepreneurial journey began. Now hear me. And the reason why I'm taking you on this trajectory is just for you to understand that if you're a young person anywhere on this globe, particularly if you're an African, and you are thinking that you can just go to church and pray and that success perhaps will find you on the way, please take a clue that prayer alone does not bring success. And I'm not saying don't go to church. I am a Christian. I go to church. I speak in tongues. I pray to my Father. Without him, I'm nothing. But I'm telling you that if you pray and pray and pray without working hard, without thinking strategically, that's not going to take you far. So in a year, you may have come very far. You may have lost so much. You may have, slide through life thinking that it's... No, 2026, I want you to have a different paradigm, a different mindset. I want you to have a different perspective about life. Because if you do, nothing can stop you from becoming successful. Now, listen. I am telling you that failure, losses, anything, however you want to call it, is not something that you must dwell in, but in the past. If you can begin to see all these things as processes that can prepare you for the next phase of your life, I'm telling you that you can recreate whatever you may have lost back on. So I've taken the time to walk you through this background just to give you a sense of hope. For you to know that if I've come through all this way, and today I'm sharing with you that you can make it, you can restart, you can bounce back, you can reset your life. Please trust me, take it from me that you can. Because you can. If you think it, you can. That is why I'm sharing with you at this very early part of 2026 that if you get it right, there's no demon anywhere on this planet that can stop you from advancing forward. So let's begin. What do I mean by this? Peter Drucker, very profound management consultant, said that the best way to predict the future is to create it. What a profound statement. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Now, what does it mean? A lot of times, particularly for those of us who come from Africa, there's this tendency for us to think that because of where we come from, because of the background we've been created in, because of the parents that we were born to, it's not possible for us to advance. A lot of time we tend to compare ourselves with our classmates and people who live abroad and what have you, and we think that is how I'm supposed to be. In other words, this is my lot. Listen to me. 2026, I want you to give yourselves a great sense of vision. Give yourself a great sense of hope and tell yourself that this is January. By December 2026, this is how I want to look like. And this is how I want to be. And this is where I want to be, whether financially, whether social capital, whether spiritually, whatever it is. Give yourself a great sense of, because as he said, the best way to predict that future is to create it. And I'm going to share with you tools that will enable you to create that future. That is what I'm trying to do today. Because if you get it right, you can create that future. Now, but let me start off. Let me ask you a few questions, just for your own reflection. And I'm going to pose some questions here that I want you to take your time to reflect on and try to find answers to these questions. And let that guide you. Whether you are doing your journaling or you have a place where you write stuff, it can be on the wall. My mother used to write on the wall, with chalk. You go and buy something from her, then you mark, I've sold it. He marks. So I don't care wherever you're going to write it. But please tell yourself that you're going to answer these questions and you are going to take steps to bring the answers you are going to put on that paper into. Now, first question I want you to ask yourself, what is your biggest goal for 2026? Maybe you've never thought about that. I know in December 31st, a lot of us go to church with what we call resolutions. And you and I know that for the number of years that you've been on this planet Earth, resolutions alone does not bring hope. Listen, if you really want to become successful in this world, you must have a goal for yourself. So what is your goal for 2026? What is your goal? Number two, and please answer this question before you move to the next level. The next question. The second question is, why is this goal the biggest goal for you in 2026? Why? Because if you cannot give a reason why that goal is important for you, believe you me, you cannot sacrifice for that goal. Nothing in this world comes cheap. Even to sleep, you cannot sleep cheaply. You got to sit on the bed first. If you jump onto your bed, you break your neck, you break your waist. The body cannot survive the next day. So nothing comes free in this world. So why is this goal that you say that's your biggest goal for 2026? Why is it so important for you? Why? What is it that makes it so salient? What is it that makes it so important? Listen, if you cannot answer the question why this goal that you describe as your biggest goal for 2026 is so important for you, I guarantee you, when the going gets tough, you throw in the towel. And that is the essence for you to know why this goal is so important for you. Number three, the third question I want you to answer before we go into the details of what I'm going to share with you today. What is your plan or your strategy for achieving that goal? And I know I'm talking to my fellow brothers and sisters of Africans. And Africa is the continent where we pray so much. Africa is the continent where we go to church and we go to the mosque and all. And a lot of times when we have ideas, we tend to think that God will bring these ideas on the silver platter. Listen, there's nothing free under the sun. Nothing. Absolutely not. Even salvation, you got to give something up to get a salvation. So nothing is free. If you want to go the way you've been going all the time, you cannot have salvation. So you got to let go of something in order to get something. So what is your strategy for that goal? Without a strategy, without a plan, that goal will remain an idea on paper and it cannot. For example, let me give you a practical example. You said by December, I want to have $1,000 in my account, or 1 million Ghana cedis, or kwacha, or shillings, or Kenyan shillings, whatever it is. You want to have this amount of money in your account. Listen, that goal, you will pray about it, you will fast about it, but if you don't have a strategy, that goal is not going to happen. So there are 12 months in a year. That's 1 million or $1,000 that you want to have. Divide that $1,000 by 12 months. Let's say, okay, so let me make it 1,200. That means every month you need to be able to save $100. Or if it's 1.2 cedis or kwacha or shilling, that means every month you need to save 100,000 shillings or 100,000 Ghana cedis, so that by December, which is 12 months, you have had your 1.2 million cedis or shillings or kwacha or whatever it is that you want to have. That is a clear strategy. Then you break it down. Every day, how much must I be able to work for, to earn? Because if you divide the $100 or cedis or shilling or kwacha or whatever it is by the 30 days, you will come to a number. That means that every day you must have that number in your account. That is the only reason why you are going to be able to get your 1,200 at the end of December. Not to talk about the interest and what have you, compound interest. Those things will be coming later. But that is a strategy. If you don't have a strategy for your goal, and you are going to think that your goal, because you are nice, because you are handsome, because you are pretty, because you go to church, because you pray, because you fast, that goal is going to happen. Please listen to me. It's not going to happen. Even God had to work for 6 days. Abraham was a businessman. Jacob was a hard worker. Isaac was a hard worker. Joseph, you and I know. So you need to have a strategy. And without that strategy, it's not going to happen. The fourth question you must ask, why is that strategy or plan the best plan for you? In other words, you're going to have to do some sort of analysis. Because not all plans. Somebody said there are many ways to kill a cat. Every way is a strategy. But which of them is the best strategy to kill that cat? If you interrogate, if you investigate, if you spend time to reflectively analyze what you think is a strategy, you might end up finding out that there is a better way to get it done. Somebody have said, in the 21st century, those who are making it are not working hard, they are working smarter. Is a strategy the best that you can think of? Have you done comparative analysis with other colleagues, other people in other jurisdictions? Today, by technology, you can even be in wherever you are, whether in the village. As long as you have internet, you can have a sort of comparative analysis anywhere in the world, just to find out whether your strategy is the best. Now, the next question you must ask yourself is, what does it mean by owning your 2026, by getting it right in 2026? What does it mean in terms of measurable terms for you as a person? Would you be able to measure your performance from January to December by March, which will be the end of the first quarter? Can you go back to the drawing board and evaluate your performance and find out, you said you were going to do A, B, C, D. Let me go back to the issue of the $1,200. You said you were going to save $100 every month. By March, go back to the drawing board and find out, have you been able to save $100 every month? And if not, go back to your strategy. Why didn't you achieve it? In other words, you are going to have to be intentional to live your life as a conscious person if you must get it right by December 2026. And I'm telling you, it's going to come overnight. By the time you say, Jack, December has come, and you are going back to do another resolution. So you need to go back and find out. Now, the last question you must ask yourself is this. Within the first quarter, which decisions are you going to be able to make? And I'll add, which other sacrifices are you going to be able to make in order to achieve the dream that you have set for yourself? Because listen to me, if you don't make sacrifices, you're not going to achieve that dream. Somebody have said that if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again and expect to have a different result, that's not going to happen. So which of the decisions that you are going to have to make daily, weekly, monthly, so that you can create that kind of year 2026 that you are looking for? I guarantee you, if you can't do that on a daily basis, you're not going to achieve it. Because of where I'm going, for the next 25 years of my life, I live a very, very intentional life. Not a second of my life is wasted. No. I won't. It's not something I'm willing to negotiate on, because I need to make sure that I remain focused on where I'm going, so that by December 2026, I can evaluate and say, I said I was going to move from point A to point B, and this is where I am right now. And I'm not going to wait till December. Every quarter, every month, I'm going to evaluate to find out whether I'm on the right course.